Now.
On 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
It's 8:07 on O'Connor and Company this day after Thanksgiving, a day after the 11-1 Lions victory on Thanksgiving Day. Bears fans, thoughts and prayers. I don't know, but I can only say this to Bears fans. For every year of my adult life, except for one glorious season with Barry Sanders as a Lions fan, for every year, that was the Lions going through what you went through yesterday in the final 30 seconds of that game. So I feel your pain. Your season's over. Jump on the Lions bandwagon. Let's go. They're America's team. That said, coming up in 30 minutes, we're going to speak with Stephanie Carls. She's an expert on Black Friday deals at blackfriday.com. It's Larry O'Connor with Julie Gunlock. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning, and I feel that I should say, because I am sitting in on a Friday,
yes,
that someone needs to say Happy Friday.
Oh, no one has said Happy Friday. Well, because
yes,
it doesn't feel like a Friday. It feels like,
I
but
know,
you're right.
I know. But just
right.
as a nod to Patrice, Happy Friday.
I appreciate that. Happy Friday, everyone. David Mcintosh joins us. He's the president of Club for Growth. And I'm sorry if you're a Bears fan, David. Please forgive me if you are.
No, I'm actually with you on the Lions. I loved it when they won.
Excellent. Good to know. All right, this is gonna go very well, our conversation then. Listen, the Trump administration really has taken form now, and specifically with those who are going to have a say with regard to the economic policies. We still need a trade representative. We still need a administrator of small business administration. I think there might be. Has he named, David, his head of the chief economic council, the chief economic advisor to the president?
I have not seen that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. There's
but for the other positions, yeah, for that, I'm curious. From a Club for Growth perspective, what are your initial thoughts on the team that he's put together and what appears to be the direction he's going to take on day one?
You know, I think that he has put together a very strong team on economic policy, and in a couple of other areas. Linda McMahon is going to be great on school choice, which we're very much a supporter of as well. I think his Treasury Secretary pick will be a very good, strong signal to the financial markets that he's going to have a strong push for the tax cuts, that he'll be pro-crypto. And also, I think that as a Treasury Secretary, he'll be a little cautious on the tariff question. We do not think it's a good economic policy to put across-the-board tariffs. We recognize the president needs them to push people to come to the negotiating table. And I think Secretary Beeson will be a good voice on caution in not overusing the tariffs in a way that would hurt the economy.
So I'd love to follow up on that. I get it, and I'm with you. And I'm constantly reminded by my friend Scott Walker at Young America's Foundation that even Ronald Reagan put some tariffs on famously with motorcycles and Harley Davidson and all that stuff. And I think that the threat of tariffs, I think, is a big part of the president's policy, as we saw manifest just now with Mexico and border policies. But he has flirted, David Mcintosh, with the idea of, well, maybe we go back to tariffs across the board, robust, and we get rid of the income tax. And listen, that would be a hell of a maneuver, and I don't know what that looks like. But from your perspective, have you been able to sort of chart out what that could look like? Because Lord knows the income tax experiment, which is 100 years old now, has not been a wonderful one for everybody, has it?
No. And an economist will share with you the optimism that if you could eliminate the income tax and move it to a tariff or some other type of consumption tax, that's better for economic growth. The fear that I think everybody has is now that we have this income tax, it's been shrined into the Constitution to allow it. There's a big fear that you'd end up with both, at which point we become more like Europe with very, very sluggish economic growth because they call it the VAT, but both a consumption tax and an income tax in most countries.
Both. That's the danger. Yeah.
David, I have a really basic question here, and I honestly, this is sort of personal because I'm feeding 3 teenagers, and it is difficult to do that,
Yeah,
to keep
yeah.
them fed with. When are we going? What, I get it. It's going to take some time to get some regulations rolled back and get the economy up and running and in better shape. But when are we going to start seeing an easing of these food prices? When are we going to start seeing it? Because everybody's so excited. Yay, we're so excited. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, but it's going to take a while. When do you see the economy turning around a little bit and maybe some lowering of prices?
So, and a lot of people, Julie, would tell you it'll turn around on employment. We'll have stronger employment, stronger wage growth, but the price is going to increases that occurred during Biden are very hard to roll back. What you need is competition, more competition in that industry. And I think Secretary Kennedy will be focused on that because he sees a lot of monopoly practices in the food industry that, and he, as you know, argues there's a huge quality problem with the food that they produce. A lot of that's driven by government regulations and subsidies. For example, we subsidize the American sugar industry,
Yes.
so that then creates this huge pressure for food makers to use corn syrup, which is a lot more addicting to sweets. And we're going to see some real policy changes there. But to your direct question, when will we see prices start to come down and inflation really come under control? That's going to take discipline by President Trump and the Congress to slow down, stop, reverse some of the spending. I've asked the question, we had huge extra spending during the pandemic where trillions of dollars were pumped into the economy. That now seems to be baked into the year after year spending. Shouldn't we just pull that back out and say, we're not in a pandemic anymore. We don't have to spend these trillions to subsidize and pay for local government or companies that are now thriving.
Yeah.
Congress is going to have to be disciplined to do that on the spending side.
Oh, boy. Yeah, well, no one here is holding their breath, David McIntosh. But let's see. I mean, there's something about winning an election the way that we just did that could actually make a sea change.
Well, and I think we have to remind the politicians of Julie's point that it's costing families at the dinner table every time they way overspend on these federal budgets.
David Mcintosh, President of Club for Growth. Because energy costs are related to futures markets, the new energy policy and getting Keystone Pipeline back rolling, opening up new oil and fracking contracts in North America as have been shut down by the Biden administration, that could have an instant effect, right? Because as soon as those energy costs go down, then the cost of doing business in America, transportation of the food products and such, that could have an immediate effect, couldn't it?
You're exactly right, Larry. That could be a big driver. Again, competition, unleashing that in the energy sector can drive down the costs. And as you point out, that's baked into everything we buy, both transportation, a lot of the production costs.
Every step of the way, 100%, yeah. David, one last quick question, just because it's Black Friday. Consumer confidence and Americans' willingness to spend money and participate in this economy, that it's almost psychological what you see. Very much of the economy and the strength of the economy comes down to psychology. Based on this election and based on the team and based on some of the signals for policy, do you expect this shopping season to actually be a reflection of the Trump election victory and perhaps actually buoy the economy to help the president's policy when he does take over?
I do see that. Typically the economists will tell you Black Friday and now there's just a shift. Instead of buying earlier, that people wait till that day and buy. But I think there's a psychological boost that's going to happen, and it's likely to be a record Black Friday, record Monday with Tech Monday. And you see it in the stock market a couple weeks ago where the psychology shifted. Okay, Trump's coming back. We can expect the tax cuts to be kept and more tax cuts for working people like folks who are earning money on tips. And that created a huge bump up in the market. I think you'll see people also be willing to spend a little more this Christmas feeling, okay, it's going to get better. I can afford to buy a little bit nicer Christmas gift for my family.
Yep.
And I think we'll see that reflected in the numbers.
Happy Thanksgiving, David McIntosh.
Happy
Thanks
Thanksgiving to both of you. Thank you.
Appreciate it. And Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. That's David McIntosh, President of Club for Growth. It's 8:16. All right, Julie, listen, we try to be positive and upbeat here and hopeful and try to make people feel good about things, even if things look bad. There's always something good to take away, and I get it. And then we've been pretty positive about the Trump victory, of course, and the new administration and the cabinet picks, but we are not discussing one of the major dilemmas facing this town, us personally, our friends, and anyone who works in Washington who align themselves with conservative and Republican politics. And I'm just going to say it. Where are we going to go hang out?
I don't know.
I mean, during the 4 years of the Trump first term, we had the Trump Hotel.
Yes,
it was on Pennsylvania
he's gotta buy
Avenue.
Something. Yeah.
Oh, it was 2 blocks away from the White House. It was right between Capitol Hill and the White House on Pennsylvania Avenue. It was the people who worked in the media have their offices near there. It was accessible from Alexandria. It was and it felt like a private club. Democrats hated going there, so they never would, which was great because we would able to go there. We'd have
It had incredible restaurants, well-reviewed restaurants.
David Burke's. David Burke's BLT Prime was an incredible restaurant.
There was a sushi restaurant in there. I can't remember the name of it, but it was it got incredible reviews.
Now, of course, the Trump organization sold the hotel after the 2020 election. It's now, I think it's almost in receivership because it hasn't done well at all. I can't remember who ended. I think it was the Astoria Group, the Waldorf Astoria Group.
Yeah,
I want to say.
Yes, it is.
But there was some suggestion that they were going to go belly up. What? First of all, the most beautiful solution would be for the Trump organization to buy that place back, and we'd all be able to go right back where we were. But short of that, where can we hang out?
I think it's time he bought something in Virginia. I'm tired of going over into D.C.
No,
how about a nice northern? Well, not northern.
But people work. People who work in the White House and work for the administration, they got late hours. They got to be able to go somewhere right afterwards.
Yeah.
Or if they've got TV hits, if they got to go down to Fox News or the Newsmax studios or what have you, they got to be able to do that.
It's tough, Larry. I don't know.
This is a major issue, and somebody's got to come up with a solution.
He's got to buy something.
Is there another place? The Hamilton, the Hamilton place down there, but I don't know if we'll be welcome there. I go there a lot. It doesn't seem like a. Yeah. I would think any restaurant and or bar would be happy to welcome.
There is the
MAGA
Willard.
country.
There is the place. Willard.
The
do
Willard's
love the
right
Willard.
there. Yeah.
Yes. And they have that great round bar. The round robin.
Yes, but it doesn't feel like a Trump conservative kind of place.
No, I agree.
It's too bipartisan.
Maybe the Mayflower.
Oh, I don't know. Do they have sort of like that? Do they trend in our direction?
They definitely have that vibe, and they have Lincoln all over the inside of the Mayflower. I guess
that's true. It is. It is very Lincoln-y, which suggests Republican. But you never know exactly.
Yes.
Well, if there's any owner of a major establishment downtown who would like to let us know that they are open for business and welcoming of the incoming administration and all the people who work there and all the media types that work with them, let us know. We want to trumpet it. We want to celebrate it.
This is like when the Bush family came in, it was like Tex-Mex took over. Remember all the Tex-Mex, and then the Chinese restaurant, the Peking Gourmet in Northern Virginia.
I wasn't here
the Bush
then,
family
but I remember
loved
reading
loved
about
the Peking
it.
Gourmet. Yes. So all of these places were kind of iconic. There was a place in Del Rey that the Clinton family used to go to all the time. Still there. It's a Cajun restaurant. Artie's. That was big with the Clintons. So every administration brings in new sort of, the hot place to go in Washington.
Well, we need to know. Again, it was a no-brainer during the first Trump White House because he had his own place right there.
Yep.
And he would go there, remember. Yes. That was the only place. In fact, when I got my first interview with him after the election at the White House, I asked him, I said, I know you're going to your place, you're eating it. Are you trying any of the other restaurants here in town? He didn't really go out much.
We'll have to choose a McDonald's to meet at.
That's true.
RFK would not approve. RFK would
What
not
was
approve.
I thinking? No, and that's a good thing. We got to keep RFK
Right,
in
no,
check.
yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Well,
we're-
listen, if you all have any ideas, go ahead and seek us out on social media. X is usually the best place, but you can find us at Facebook as well. Tell us where you think the next big hangout should be in D.C. during the next Trump administration. It's 8:23.
Coming up, we'll talk to Stephanie Carls from BlackFriday.com. She'll give us some tips on the best Black Friday deals, some news, trends, and other interesting facts about this year's Black Friday. Keep it here. It's 8:30.
8:36 now on this day after Thanksgiving, and a continued happy Thanksgiving to one and all, and a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, whatever. We just want you to be happy, all right? Just be happy, whatever you're doing with your life. It's O'Connor and Company. Coming up in 30 minutes, the Chris Plant Show, of course. But in the meantime, there's still much to discuss here with Julie Gunlock. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning.
Are you making Darren go up on the rooftop and hang the Christmas lights and all that stuff today?
No, I am not. I'm embarrassed. Say we hire someone.
Don't be embarrassed. No, that's good. That's smart.
No,
man.
no.
wouldn't-
Honestly, I don't want to be a widow, so we're happy to hire someone.
But that way, while you're doing that, you can go out and take advantage of all the Black Friday deals. That's what today is all about. Stephanie Carls joins us now from BlackFriday.com. First of all, I just brought up the website. Is it too late? Here's my problem. It's 8:37 now Eastern time, and I just assume all the deals are gone. Everyone's already taken advantage of them, and I'm behind the eight ball.
That's definitely not true. I think there's plenty of opportunities happening. They've actually, thankfully, started even earlier this year than they previously had. I mean, starting even from early November, you were seeing these different deals, and they're going to continue throughout the weekend. So I think you still got some time.
Excellent. That's good news. Now, what are you seeing in terms of trends? Usually today is the day for the big high-ticket electronics, or is that now shifted because of the whole push for Cyber Monday? I've lost track of all these things.
It is very true. You know, today is really going to be best for those big ticket items. So TVs, laptops, gaming consoles, kitchen appliances, toys, beauty gift sets, and clothing. And then Cyber Monday, that's where, focus on those tech accessories, travel deals, streaming services, even digital gifts like those software subscriptions. Those are also going to be great for Cyber Monday. So kind of more concentrating on those only online type of deals. But the trends are really sticking true with the same type of things you've seen before. So a lot of tech, of course, clothing, certain brands like Fiore, shoes, gaming devices, streaming. So it's still pretty typical.
You know, Stephanie, at times like this, I think people are, they get, it's higher energy. They feel like, I got to get the deal. But are there any sort of warnings you would give to people, things to avoid, things to look out for? You don't want people to get, sort of fooled into buying things that maybe aren't a good deal, but they think is a better deal. So what is your advice on that front?
That's very true. And I think it's the pattern that a lot of people fall into very often is they're so concerned over, one, am I going to get that great deal? But I think that it also adds in the ability to be a savvy shopper. And so you have the tools, on hand. So, utilizing BlackFriday.com. So you can go through the different ad scans from the retailers. You can be more educated when it comes to taking a look at what's being offered, but then also using sites like RetailMeNot.com and shopping through that, where you have the opportunity to then stack your savings. So not only can you look at those different sales that are going on, but then you can also take a look at what are the ways that I can stretch my dollar and I'm actually going to be paid to shop. And so you can then look at, as an example, even this weekend, Retail May Not is offering a cyber weekend. So we have more retailers that are offering up to 20% cash back. So now it's going to say, let me take a look at my list. Let me use the internet and use it for some great reasons to then find the best deal. And that includes not only looking at that sale, but then saying, hey, why don't I make sure that I can also get 20% cash back? And so I'm going to stretch that dollar. And so then you can stack that. Let's say you have a credit card that is also offering 5% cash back. So now you're
Wow.
being even smarter than going and just like running into the stores at
Right.
6 a.m. and gathering whatever you can, where you could actually sit right at home or maybe sit at your local Starbucks, grab a good cup of coffee and do some online shopping in peace. Maybe if your kids are running around. And so now you can sit there and order it, and then you can order it for store pickup, and then you're going to get all of those different deals.
We're speaking with Stephanie Carl. She's a retail expert on Black Friday from BlackFriday.com. Can you explain how these scan offers work? It sounds like it's a combination of cyber shopping as well as in-person shopping. Are you suggesting that people sort of stack these deals on top of one another?
That's right. So I can even use the example of I had a friend that was interested in getting the Meta Ray-Ban sunglasses. And so I was telling her, I said, hey, okay, so guess what? Not only is Ray-Ban offering 20% off right now on those glasses, well then you can also stack on top that Retail Me Not is offering 14% cash back on those glasses. And so now she was then going to be giving that information to her mom that was in charge of gifting those to her. And so now it's, taking a look at those different things, but also kind of like going back to the savviness of knowing like everyone is, of course, grabbing great deals wherever they can, but you were kind of mentioning how can you make sure that that's actually a good deal?
Yeah.
So even for an example for Amazon, you want to take that link for the exact Amazon product that you're looking at where it looks like, hey, this is a big Black Friday deal. Take that link and you're going to toss it into a site called Camel, and it will show you if that is actually a good deal. Because
Really?
It might have. So that's
I am
going to
now
be able to
Googling.
tell you,
I
hey.
love that.
So
Hold
then
on,
you're
is
going to
that
be able to see.
like wait, camel,
Yeah.
like the humped mammal from the
Yeah, I'm on it right
Middle
now.
East? Like, hey, Mike,
That's right.
it's hump day. Okay, all right.
Exactly.
So camel, I love that, and then they can give you
Yeah.
the judgment on it. Very cool. Real quickly,
That's right. And so it's
have
gonna
we
show
seen
you
these?
that chart.
Yeah. I was just going to ask you: have retail stores pretty much given up on the midnight? Everything starts, open the doors, and then there's a stampede. Is that forever in the past now? And now that we've moved through this new era.
Would like to say that I really do feel like that is in the past.
Yeah.
However, you also have the opportunity that retailers are noticing to bring people back in the store, except they want to bring them back in the store for experiences. And so we are seeing still around 62% of shoppers are saying that they're going to not only shop online, but also in the stores. And so these retailers are doing things like Target that is offering exclusive Taylor Swift merchandise. And so that opened up at 6 a.m. today, where you could go in, you can get that. You have Kohl's that is offering, different giveaways and things that they're doing. And so retailers are noticing that this doesn't have to be this, crazy hype. Sure, you're going to have some of those different items that are in the store. It's always great to go in and browse. You kind of want to touch and see things.
Right. People like
those
to shop.
experiences
exactly.
are still there.
Stephanie, I
Right.
have to say you're
So
very
those
powerful.
experiences are still there.
I have to say you're very powerful. I am on camel.com, and it says, sorry, we have an unusual high volume of searches right now. Please try
Well,
again in a few minutes. So
There
Stephanie,
it is. That's
boy,
what
you
happens
bro-
when you
bro-
mention
you
it
broke
on our
the
show.
site.
Yeah. All
That's
right.
right. That's
Stephanie
right.
Carls, we'll leave it there. And also, by the way, you did something else really important here because Julie knows what a Swiftie I am, and you've just explained that there is Taylor Swift paraphernalia available now, specifically targeted to that demo. So you have no excuses now, Julie. You can even get a deal on all my Swiftie. I want a pair of those.
There you
hip
go.
boots.
Well, you better
Yeah.
watch out. That might actually be the one thing that you were saying earlier. Have I missed out? Is it going to be sold out? I went in and I'm a Swiftie, so I already have my book in my hands, and you're going to have to make sure to grab it. But if you don't, you can try. They will start selling it online tomorrow. So just in case.
Stephanie, you're too good, Stephanie Carls, because I actually was making a joke. I'm not much of a Swiftie at all. I got to be honest with you.
Well, hey, I'm trying to bring you in.
That's right.
All right. I'm. You know what? I'm Swiftie curious. How's that? I will.
Dear.
There you go. There. Perfect.
Thank you.
We'll
Happy
take
Black Friday, Stephanie Carls. Great stuff. It is 8:45. WMAL traffic and weather every time. 8:50 now on this Black Friday. I'm very happy now that I'm all set for my sales and my purchasing and my shopping. It's the Christmas decorating that I'm concerned about. One thing's for certain, though, I'm not going to be able to master the level of irony and ignorance that was mastered at the White House this week by First Lady Jill Biden. Just listen.
This beautiful Fraser fir was grown at the Cartners Christmas tree farm, where the Cartner family has been growing trees for more than 60 years. And their farm is nestled in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina, a region that was recently devastated by Hurricane Helene. The Cartner family lost thousands of trees in the storm, but this one remained standing, and they named it Tremendous for the extraordinary hope that it represents.
And then we hacked it down and dragged it here to the White House in Washington. Merry Christmas, everybody.
This tree.
They named the tree. This tree was a symbol of resilience, fortitude, a symbol of hope for the people of that devastated community, still devastated by the hurricane and, frankly, by the lack of support from FEMA, because God forbid some of those people have Trump signs in front of their homes. You know, good luck with that, still living in tents. But this tree was named Tremendous as a beacon of hope for the entire area.
The only tree left standing. The only tree left standing.
Jill and Joe Biden sent their assassins down there to hack it down and put it up so the elite few who were invited to the White House could enjoy it before it's tossed aside after it served its purpose, and it will be
remarkable.
garbage.
It is remarkable. Honestly, Larry, this is as if there's this huge disaster, right? Like a building collapse, and they drag the one survivor out of the rubble and then shoot him.
For their own enjoyment. For their own enjoyment.
What
Who
in
thought
the
this
world?
was a good idea?
Honestly,
Not
Jill
one
really-
person at the White House said, "Hey guys,
Right. They are the most tone deaf people. I mean, it's some. Sorry, I know they're very bright young people, but some 21-year-old staffer was like, "This is perfect. This is going to be."
It'll show our compassion and empathy for the people
Honestly,
of North Carolina."
Does Jill Biden, is she trying to top her breakfast tacos or Quadway moment? Is she trying to go out on a high note?
On that note, everyone, enjoy decorating for Christmas. Do better than the Bidens, please. And we'll see you Monday. It's 8:53.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station.
Making sense of the news.
News Talk 105.9.
News.